Welcome to the Gastro Girl podcast. We bring together patients, experts, and health advocates who are all here to help you optimize your health. Here's your host, Jacqueline Gaulin.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Gastro Girl Unfiltered. I'm Jacqueline Gaulin, your host. Thank you for joining me today. I want to just say in advance, I'm working on my background. I have a little office room in my second bedroom, so I'm trying to come up with ideas on how to make the background a little more exciting. So if you have any ideas for me, comment, drop it in the comments section. I'd love to hear how we can spruce up the background of the Gastro Girl podcast. So today's episode is something that I've been mulling over for a while. I'm guilty of it myself to my own detriment. It's doom scrolling, stress, and your gut. You know, how many of us find ourselves scrolling endlessly and mindlessly through your phone? We're reading one bad news story after another. And I don't know about you, but I feel like my anxiety rising, because I'm one of those control freaks. I want to solve all the world's problems. And obviously it's impossible. And I feel my stress levels rise, but I just can't stop. And like I've said, how many of you can relate? I've been there too. But doom scrolling, it's a real thing, and it's messing with our mental, physical, and gut health more than we ever realized. So in today's episode of Gastro Girl Unfiltered, I'm sharing my own experience with doom scrolling, how I broke the cycle, and what science tells us about its impact on our gut and our overall health. Plus, I'll answer a listener question, share a simple wellness tip, and leave you with a challenge that could COVID and post-COVID, I used to doom scroll a lot. I mean, especially late at night, when you can't sleep, or you're not even trying to sleep. You just grab your phone and think, okay, now I'm going to go online. And I'd pick up my phone and I'd check one thing, and then I'd keep going 45 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours later. And I'm going down these rabbit holes of information, and it's stress inducing. And guess what? I can't fall asleep. So I'd wake up the next morning, I'm feeling drained, anxious, and physically tense. Plus, my workout plans for that morning are completely shot because I'm completely tired, and all I need to do is start all over again, grab that coffee, and get to work. And it's the antithesis of everything that I'm sharing with you on these podcast episodes about good health. And as much as I talk about all the things we need to do, I always don't practice them, and that's not good. So I noticed when I'm doing this, my gut was off. I wasn't feeling good, more bloated, maybe discomfort, and just overall being off. And I definitely wasn't sleeping well, and definitely not making good choices when it came to eating. And my stress levels were sky high. And for those who work with me, the short answers, the aggravation I show on phone calls, sometimes on Zoom calls, because I'm just irritated because I haven't slept, that's not a good thing. But it turns out there's a science to why this happens. So doom scrolling floods our brain with tons of negative information. And it actually triggers a stress response that increases cortisol in our bodies and adrenaline levels. Those are our body's flight or fight hormones. Now, research from the University of Florida found that repeated exposure to distressing news raises anxiety levels, increases inflammation, and contributes to long-term health risk. You've heard it. Yeah, we all probably knew this innately, but we don't want to admit it. And I'm confessing to you right now that I am guilty of this. Chronic stress, as we've heard many experts saying on this podcast, alters the gut microbiome, it slows digestion, and can increase symptoms like bloating, constipation, or diarrhea. High stress individuals are more likely to experience IBS symptoms, gut inflammation, and worsen digestion due to elevated cortisol levels. Now, I'm not saying this is the total cause, but as you know, we've said many, many times that things like IBS are multifactorial. There are many aspects to our life, to what we're eating, our stress levels, as well as our environment and other triggers. But this is one component that we're focusing on today, and this is this doom scrolling and how it's impacting. Not only does doom scrolling spike our stress levels, and you've heard this over and over again, I'm not the first person to say this, but doom scrolling also disrupts our sleep quality. Now, why is that? We've heard about the blue light exposure before bed and how it's not a good thing to do. Well, if you need some more proof, a Harvard Medical School study found that blue light exposure from screens before bed reduces our melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. Yeah, this is what I've been dealing with. Now, poor sleep in turn can increase our gut permeability, it can weaken our digestion, and it contributes to metabolic imbalances. We've all heard this, and I'm guilty of it. I go in bed, I think, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, and I'm like, and before you know it, I'm like wired, but I'm wired in not a good way. It's turning off that phone, and I didn't do it for so long, especially during the last couple of years post COVID. Now, I want to jump into this listener question that we got. I know stress is bad for my gut, but I can't escape it. What's one realistic thing that I can do every day to manage stress better? Great question. Now, stress is unavoidable. Just in our day-to-day life, stress is inherently there, right? Traffic, getting the kids to school on time, making our conference calls, especially days like today when I have back-to-back Zoom calls. But it's how we respond to stress that makes all the difference. Now, one simple but effective practice that I've learned from talking with the experts over time, take a 5-minute break from screens every hour. Can you do that? I'm going to do that. Let's do this challenge. Let's set our phones that we're going to take a 5-minute break from our screens, whether it's our computers, our televisions, our iPads, our phones, every hour. If we set a little reminder on our phones to take a 5-minute break, take a break, go get some water, pet the dog, say hello to your cat, whatever you need to do, just take that 5-minute break. Maybe it's just sitting and being for 5 minutes without looking at anything. How great would that be? It's like freedom. You know, I love that. One night, I think it was early this week, I left my phone in the car. I literally did. And it was late at night. I'd already taken the dogs out and I didn't feel like going to the car to get my phone. It was so amazing. I didn't have to worry about looking at everything. It was so freeing. I think I had the best night's sleep ever because I didn't have my phone. I need to leave the phone in my car more often, I think. But seriously, research shows that pausing from digital stimulation, deep breathing, and we've had some guests on here. We have some guests in previous episodes that talk about deep breathing. And there's tons of great stuff on YouTube. There's great apps, meditation. But deep breathing or even stepping outside for fresh air can help lower cortisol and help reset our nervous system. Yeah, it's so simple, right? But why don't we do it? Small shifts can truly create huge impact on stress and gut health. Now, I want to give you another challenge because this is one we're all guilty of, myself included. God, I've done a lot of things that aren't good for my gut health. But here's something to try. How many of you are like this at mealtime, especially if you live by yourself? Maybe if you live with a husband or a partner or friends. You're on your phone and you don't even know what you're shoveling into your mouth, right? You're not even remembering the taste of what you're eating. Can I challenge you to eat one meal per day without your phone? Just like toss it to the side. Don't even think about your phone. Just savor what you're eating. Be mindful. We talk about this all the time. We've had dietitians on. Just no distractions, just you and your food. And if you have someone, your family member, if you're not eating alone, if you're eating with, just engage in the conversation. God, remember those days around the family meal time? If you had, those opportunities where you could enjoy a meal, conversation, and no one had any distractions. Those were the good old days, right? But here's something to try. It's just mindful eating. And studies show that mindful eating improves digestion, reduces bloating, and strengthens our gut-brain connection. But I want you to try these two things this week and DM me You can find me on the socials, on the YouTube channel. You can do it right here and tell me how it felt. 5 minutes every hour, step away from screens and take one meal where you're not engaged with your phone at all. And I want to see if you notice a difference. Now let's go through our top 3 tips for listeners. Set boundaries with your phone. Designate scroll-free zones like meal times and bedtime. Just those 2 things, I'm guessing, will make a huge difference based on the research, what the research shows. Like, try it out and let me know. And especially reducing screen time before bed improves overall sleep, which directly impacts stress, digestion, and stress levels. Now, it's really hard to take the TV out of the bedroom, but it's so important to do that. And we've done episodes where we interviewed a sleep expert, and I'm guilty of this. I have a TV in my bedroom, but I haven't been watching TV when I go to bed. Now, this is this thing that I didn't think about. Oliver, my bearded collie, this morning, as a matter of fact, he jumped on the bed. He jumped on the bed at like 6:45, and I must have had the remote control in my on my bed. He jumped on the bed and it put the TV on. I mean, so I had good sleep until my dog decided to turn the TV on himself. So here I am awake. So, and my point is, make sure you don't have the remote control on your bed so that your dog or cat or significant other or child can put the TV on early in the morning and wake you up and disrupt your sleep that way. So I know it's a little digression, but let's get back to our tip number 2. Consume information mindfully. We are blessed in so many ways to have access to so much information, but it's also a curse because it's overload and it's not always evidence-based. It's not always factual. And nowadays it might not even come from a real person, right? So we don't even know where this information is coming from. So try to follow trusted science-backed sources instead of getting lost in conflicting health trends. It's overwhelming. Curate your feed to reduce stress and avoid misinformation. And please know, and we all need a reminder, that a lot of those beautiful influencers we see online with all these different products, they're paid spokespeople most of the time to promote those products. So be mindful of that, and not everything that they're talking about might be good for you. And definitely you want to talk to your healthcare provider. If you're thinking about buying a supplement or trying a new treatment option, please talk to your healthcare provider. And my third, and this is so important, and I'm guilty of this again, is prioritize real life connection. We get so caught up in being in our own little worlds, especially if you live alone or you work from home. And it's so easy to lose touch with the outside world, our communities. Instead of doom scrolling, engage in real world activities that support mental health and, in relation, gut health, like walking, deep breathing, or connecting with a friend. Your gut thrives when your stress is in check. And it might be hard for those that may be housebound, but find online communities around people that share your same interests. Whether you need support with IBS, there's a great IBS support group run by Jeffrey Roberts. There's AppFed that has a community. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has communities. There's amazing communities with like-minded people that can lift you up instead of the doom and gloom of life. It's hard enough. We need people that are our champions and that are advocates and that want to help. And in turn, we help them. Now I can go on and on about this topic, but I want to leave you with this. And please share your comments and insights and your suggestions for our listeners and for the community that we've built here. Share your tips for how you deal with stress and how you can, connect with the community and have these real life connections. But that's it for today's Gastro Girl Unfiltered. If you related to this episode, share it with a friend who might need a break from doom scrolling. And if you have a digestive health question for next time, please DM me or put a comment, or you can email me at podcast@gastrogirl.com. And I also want to remind everyone that if you want trusted, expert-backed gut health support, without the internet rabbit hole, I encourage you to check out the Ask Gastro Girl app. We have a free 3-day trial. Really check it out. Information is below. The information is below. And thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Smash that button to subscribe, and thank you so much.
For more information and resources, please visit gastrogirl.com.